Hello and welcome to another Akis video, and to this week's daily race C. We are at Kyoto Yamagiwa reverse and we are in Group 4 cars. This is actually a rather enjoyable combo in my humble opinion, and it's also a fairly controller friendly combo. There's one mandatory pit stop. You don't have to change your tires, but it doesn't take long to do it. We are on racing mediums and the tire wear is fairly low. So let's just get straight into this one. But before we do that, we have to pick a flight and go to the American servers, because I want to just do a race from the back just to feel this combo out and see what it's like. I'm in a rental McLaren. It's sort of the meta car for this race, but I have never really driven the McLaren since GT Sport, so it felt good to be back in this one. Anyway, all the races in this video happened on Monday. This first race was at 2:30 where I live, so that means it's everything between early morning and very early morning on the American servers. So everyone is just feeling this one out at the moment, including myself. And we are through this first sort of sketchy chicane. Have to make sure you carry the speed and don't get a track limit penalty. We're coming around the hairpin. I'm under a bit of pressure from the car behind me, but I just have to get settled in. The tires are still cold and all that stuff. And now we're coming down towards the very awkward chicane, keeping the car to the right so I can switch the weight back to the left and then back to the right and get a sort of decent exit out of the chicane. It can be done faster than that, but that's sort of the idea in this one. Anyway, not much going on at the moment, but that's not the point of this first race for me. This is more about what the car feels like in race conditions, what the tire wear feels like with me driving on the controller, and just generally getting used to this combo with other cars around me before I get further into time trialing this one. But as we come down the hill through the S's, we can see that the silver McLaren had a bad run out of there, and P5 managed to get past him, and he decides to go for the early pit stop. I am staying out some more. I don't know how the tires will hold up with me driving, so we are just staying behind the silver McLaren, having a look into the braking zone, mostly to see where I'm going, but I'm not going to try anything yet. And as we come through the chicane, we've got some side-by-side stuff going on in front of me, so that means that one of these drivers, in fact all of them, are going to have a bad exit out of the chicane. So we are now right behind these other three cars. The silver McLaren is going for a very wide line through this corner. I'm trying to hold the inside the best I can, but just as he comes closer to the inside, my car slides off the curb. So there was a slight contact, and unfortunately he was touching the wall. When watching this back, I probably should have let him go past, but in the heat of the moment I just carried on. So sorry about that one. Now we've got the white car picking up a penalty ahead of me, and this is just before we reach the penalty zone, so he has to carry that penalty around for another lap. He is also getting a bad run through the S's on the following lap, and I'm right behind him now, and I decide just to try to go for a move around the inside. He gives me plenty of space, so all is good, and we just carry on with the race. We are jumping a bit ahead now. Unfortunately, this time I make a total mess of the chicane of randomness. I get the exit all wrong, and you can see the car ahead of me is getting a much better exit. But on the following lap, things are going wrong for P3. He's running wide on the exit, hits the wall, and he spins out. So now suddenly I am up into P3. And now I've got some clean air, so I decided to do another lap, and I'm pitting at the end of lap 6. So let's see if we go out in a lot of traffic. Not that much traffic, luckily. I've got a car ahead of me, and let's see what sort of pace he is doing. If he's fast, then we are in no trouble at all. And now I've got cold tires once again. I changed my tires because they were getting a bit second-hand. And to be honest, I don't think it's realistic for me to keep a set of tires alive for the entire race when driving on the controller. So now we just have to get these tires warmed up, coming around the hairpin, and now we're coming down towards the chicane of Awkwardness. Once again, lifting off a bit, keeping the car to the right, so I've got some room to switch the weight to the left and back to the right. It's really all about getting the right timing. And now nothing really is happening for a long while in this race, so we are at the final lap now, approaching the chicane. We've got a yellow flag and we can see a car has bended there, so now we are up into P4 and we are just staying on board for the rest of the race because I've also got a car right behind me and I am under a bit of pressure, to be honest. So I just have to keep it cool. Let me just not run wide into the wall around this corner and see if I can get the downhill S's right. Just lifting off a bit, sort of at the middle of the corners. There's also some camber changes that can help you get the right line. And now I am going way too wide at this corner. And you hear the tires screaming in agony. And the car behind me is getting close, but we are securing a P4 on this early morning run on the American servers. Now let's get back into our flight and get back to the Emea servers. I have set a rather poor, extremely poor in fact, qualifying time compared to this lobby I'm put in. The only car with the time behind me is Kai Racer, and that is definitely not a time set on purpose, that one. So immediately he is going for a move. I am expecting that, so I'm just giving him the space so I can get him in front of me. We've also got Mehdi behind me now, and as we come into this sort of tricky chicane, you can see him getting a much better exit. He's probably surprised that anyone can go through that chicane as slow as I just did there. But we are still alive. He gave me a nice boost along the track, and we are around the hairpin. He's all over the backside of my car there, and we've got the other tricky chicane coming up, the trickiest chicane on the track in fact. So once again, I'm just trying my best to keep it cool. You can see he's entering at much higher speed than me, and he is also getting a good run out of there, and I'm just giving him the inside. I just want to survive this race. This is my first race on the Emea servers, and I have to get used to the speed people are driving with, because, and we've got Jack Balding getting past me as well there, because people have been doing this all morning, and this is at 3 in the afternoon, and this is only my second race. So I'm just keeping it cool, and all the cars starting behind me are fast guys who hadn't set a qualifying time. So in a way, I was already starting dead last in this race. And we are coming around the final corner. There is a glimpse of a yellow flag. I don't really know what that was about, and we've got someone pitting early. So we just carry on, and we are jumping ahead a tiny bit in this one. I think we are jumping to the very same corner a lap later, and I saw Jack, he was going backwards. So let's just have a look what that was all about. You can see he is going for a move on the Ferrari, and he's getting the move done, but the Ferrari is attempting a switchback, and he just floors it into the side of Jack. And let's see it from the other perspective. Yeah, you see Jack coming through there, and then the Ferrari is just flooring it, aiming for the exit of the corner like Jack wasn't even there. So that wasn't the nicest driving in the entire world. We are just getting through the chicane, and I will let P12 get past me, as I was suspecting he might be faster than me. So I'm letting him get an easy pass around the hairpin, and then I will just follow him. But as we come down towards the chicane of Awkwardness, it turns out that he wasn't as fast as I thought. So I'm right behind him again, and you'll see as we come down through the S's, I'm getting really close now, and now I have to make a quick decision. So I'm going up the inside, and he is giving me plenty of room, and maybe he was realizing that he wasn't as fast as I thought as well. So I'm back in front, and we are jumping ahead once again. I'm pitting at the end of lap 4 this time, just to see if I can benefit from that in some way. Now I'm behind the German driver, and we are immediately jumping ahead, because as we go past the pit lanes on the following laps, I saw the driver named 95 accidentally pitted for the Inters, and I must admit it was hard not to laugh out loud, even though I have a broad variety of tire changing hiccups in my past. So we are just carrying on. Apart from this, it was a lonely race all the way to the end. So we are just jumping to the final corner, and you can see this was a fast lobby, and I really have to work on my race pace. So we have one final race in this video. I skipped a race and did some qualifying, and made some coffee, all that good stuff, and now I've set a 1:40.9, and I'm starting in P4. Let's see what we can do with this race. We still got Mehdi starting from the back, and yeah, I'm feeling a bit more confident this time. Still cold tires, and getting around the first corner, and be careful coming through the uphill chicane here, especially on the first lap. And you can see the car is going all slidey for me there, so that's why you have to be careful. We are just staying on board around the hairpin, and I'm a bit under pressure from behind. Maybe I'm a bit slow around the corners. I probably am, but we are coming down towards the chicane of Awkwardness, and it's the same story as in the previous races. Just keep it cool on this first lap. Not the best exit. You can see I had to lift quite a bit on the exit there, but we survived it, and we are just jumping ahead in this one. We are at the end of lap 3, and they are starting to fight ahead of me. So I ended up doing a last minute decision and went into the pits and hoping I could escape their fighting, but I'm not really sure what sort of traffic I'm coming out into. I hope the Spaniard ahead of me is faster than me, that's for sure, but we'll see. We just carry on. Now we are coming up towards the chicane. We've got a yellow flag, someone has pinned it. Yeah, and we can see someone is trying to get going with a lot of tire smoke coming up the hill there. So that was a free position for us. We are still just behind the Spaniard, and let's get around this long corner, staying in 5th gear. And here I get a small bump from a car coming straight out of the pits. I was probably going slower than he expected, and you can say maybe he could have waited, but on the other hand, he had a car coming straight behind him, so he probably had to make a quick decision. Either way, he is getting the uphill chicane all sorts of wrong, and we just carry on coming around the hairpin, and I think we are about to jump ahead a tiny bit once again. We've got a lot of cars pitting now, and where does that put us? We are up into P5 now, and still behind the Spaniard. He is plenty fast for me, it seems like. So we are jumping a bit ahead once again. We've got another car pitting. I'm back up to P4, my starting position, but we've also got Mehdi coming through behind me, and he is gaining on me fast. You can see he's getting past the Belgian driver behind me. I cannot worry too much about that. It's only a matter of time. before he will catch me, and within that single lap he caught up to me and he is getting the move done around the inside. I am not going to fight him, that's for sure. I'm just trying to mind my own business. So now I am sitting in P5 and Mehdi is past the Spaniard. I'm also getting a better run up the hill this time, so I'm getting close to the Spaniard. I'm not sure if I can do anything about it. Let's see, we're coming through this fast right-hand corner. And no, he is still ahead of me, and now I am under pressure from Bila, another fast driver in the Ferrari, and he is getting the move done on the inside there. We've also got a car in the pits, so now I'm still in P5, and I'm just hoping I can hang on to this position. But anyway, we are about to jump to the start of the final lap. I'm right behind the Spaniard. I've also got the Belgian driver who I met earlier in the race. He is gaining on me, so I am under a bit of pressure from behind as well. And let's try to nail the uphill chicane. I'm afraid I am not nailing it as good as I was supposed to, and you can see I've got the Mercedes coming up close, so I have to defend the hairpin. So I am picking the inside line, and you can see him behind me. He is doing the wise thing. He's going for the switch back and he is getting it done. You can see now he's got a nose on the inside, and it's hard to hold that on the outside, especially because I don't want to hit him as well. So he gets that position. Nice move by him. And by that we are getting close to the end of this race. I am finishing this one in P6. It was a fairly strong lobby compared to my driving abilities, and it was a fun race. I like this combo. I hope I can get some time to do some more of this. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.